Imagine waking up one morning to find that your hometown, your streets, your school, your memories are literally burning beneath your feet. That's not a horror movie plot. It's a true story. One of America's strangest, most haunting, and real-life mysteries. The fire beneath Centralia. A quiet coal town. In the heart of Pennsylvania, surrounded by gentle hills and coal-black ridges, there once stood a small mining town called Centralia. Founded in 1866, it was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone. A few thousand people lived there, miners, shopkeepers, school teachers, and children who played baseball on warm summer evenings. Coal was the heartbeat of Centralia. Beneath the town stretched a vast network of anthracite coal mines, tunnels carved deep into the earth that had fed the American Industrial Revolution. Centralia's people were proud, hard-working, and connected to the mines like family. The mines gave them jobs, warmth, and hope. But the same coal that built the town would one day destroy it. The spark that never died. It was May 27th, 1962, the Sunday before Memorial Day. The town council had a simple plan: clean up the local landfill before the annual parade. As they had done many times before, the volunteer firefighters lit a controlled fire to burn away the trash. They thought it was routine. They were wrong. Beneath the garbage pit was a small opening, a forgotten passage leading straight into the old coal mine below. When the fire reached that crack, it found oxygen, fuel, and space to spread. What began as a simple cleanup became the spark for a coal fire that would burn for centuries. The underground inferno. At first, no one noticed anything unusual. A bit of smoke here, a warm patch of ground there, nothing that miners hadn't seen before. But by the end of summer, the temperature of the ground in some spots reached up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, or 480 degrees Celsius. The earth itself was literally on fire. The fire had entered the maze-like network of abandoned mines, where it fed endlessly on the coal seams that ran for miles underground. Efforts to put it out failed. Water, sand, even sealing off the mine entrances couldn't stop it. The fire simply found new paths. And while it moved slowly, it never stopped. The town that began to sink. By the 1970s, Centralia had turned into something out of a nightmare. Thick smoke rose from cracks in the streets. The air smelled of rotten eggs and ash. The ground was hot to the touch and unstable. One day, a local gas station owner stuck a thermometer into the ground to check the fuel temperature. The reading shot up to 172 degrees Fahrenheit, or 78 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt plastic. But the most terrifying event happened in February 1981. The boy and the sinkhole. On a cold February morning, 12-year-old Todd Domboski was playing in his grandmother's backyard when the ground suddenly collapsed beneath him. He fell into a 150-foot deep sinkhole filled with toxic carbon monoxide and burning gas. Todd screamed as the earth swallowed him. Luckily, his cousin was nearby and managed to pull him out just in time, seconds before the hole widened and spewed out hot smoke. That moment made national headlines. The mystery of Centralia was no longer just local, it was America's burning ghost town. Government intervention. By the early 1980s, the federal government had spent millions trying to stop the fire. Nothing worked. The fire wasn't just under Centralia, it had spread to 8 miles of underground coal seams, some reaching neighboring towns. In 1984, Congress approved $42 million to relocate the residents. Nearly all 1,000 people accepted buyouts and left. Their homes were bulldozed, streets were ripped up, Nature slowly began to reclaim the land, but a few refused to leave.
The last residents. A handful of residents, around a dozen, fought to stay in Centralia. They argued that the government exaggerated the danger. They were attached to the land, to their homes, to the place where their parents and grandparents were buried. For decades, they lived surrounded by ghostly silence, empty lots, smoking earth, and roads that led nowhere. In 2013, the state reached an agreement. The remaining residents could live out their lives there, but when they died, their properties would belong to the government. As of the early 2020s, only a handful of houses remain standing. Centralia no longer appears on most maps. Its zip code was officially eliminated in 2002. The road to nowhere. One of the strangest remnants of Centralia is the Graffiti Highway, a 3-mile stretch of abandoned Route 61, cracked and covered in colorful graffiti. It became a bizarre tourist attraction where people came to see the smoking ground and write their names over the remains of a once bustling town. But even that is gone now. In 2020, the landowners covered the highway with dirt to stop trespassers and prevent accidents. Still, the fire below burns on. The science behind the eternal flame. Scientists estimate that the underground coal fire in Centralia could burn for another 250 years, maybe longer. Coal seams, like the ones beneath Centralia, act like enormous natural furnaces. Once ignited, they can smolder for centuries, fueled by oxygen and minerals in the rock. The heat causes chemical reactions that release gases like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, deadly to humans and animals. The town became a living laboratory for geologists and engineers studying underground combustion and its environmental effects. A town frozen in time. Today, if you visit Centralia, it feels like walking through an apocalyptic dream. Streets lead to nowhere. Driveways end in trees. The church still stands, but its congregation is gone. In winter, snow refuses to settle on certain patches of ground. The heat from below melts it instantly. Where children once played, now only flower grows through cracked concrete. The only sounds are the wind and the faint hiss of gas escaping through vents in the earth.
Lessons from the fire. The story of Centralia isn't just about a town that burned. It's about human oversight, environmental power, and resilience. The fire began with a simple mistake, burning trash in the wrong place. But it revealed something far greater: how fragile the line is between civilization and nature's raw force. Even with modern technology, we couldn't stop it. Centralia stands as a reminder that some mistakes, once set in motion, can last generations. The legend lives on. Centralia inspired novels, documentaries, and even the video game and movie Silent Hill, whose foggy, eerie atmosphere was directly based on the town's smoky landscape. But the real Centralia doesn't need fiction to be terrifying. It's proof that truth can be stranger than any ghost story. Every year, curious travelers still come to see the smoldering earth, even though there's little left to see. They walk the cracked pavement and whisper in awe, knowing that beneath their feet, the fire still burns, unseen but eternal. The eternal warning. Somewhere beneath the hills of Pennsylvania, the fire continues to creep through the coal veins, silent, slow, unstoppable. Centralia, once a proud symbol of American industry,
now lies buried under layers of smoke and time, a modern Pompeii still breathing beneath the soil. And maybe that's the greatest mystery of all, how something so powerful, so destructive, and so invisible could erase an entire town and yet never die.